So my first symptoms started actually with some back pain. So I was in a lot of sports though. So I was in soccer and track before my diagnosis. So I thought all the back pain was from that. So it took me 6 months to actually go to the hospital and get checked. Even my testicle at the moment was also getting enlarged, but I thought it was just puberty. And you would tell your friends, and my friends were to be like, "Oh, Chris, he has big balls," and it was like really funny because I was in track, so you wear those tight shorts. And everybody be like, "Oh no, Chris,
and you still wear
balls.
Really tight jeans,
Yeah,
my friend.
they're really tight. So everybody knew as
dangerous
Chris,
and tight.
Everybody knew as Chris, with like that. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm this cool guy, And then it was my junior. It was my junior year, and I was in summer break, and my back pain just started getting worse, and it got worse. And then at some point, I couldn't even put on my socks anymore. I couldn't bend down and put on my socks. So I decided to go to the ER, and I went to the ER, and I still didn't even think of it like as, cancer. I was just like, my back hurts. I need to get to check that was like maybe a disc moved, a tendon, something. So I'm there at the hospital, and it's a regional hospital. So it was like a 4 or 5 hour wait. And I'm sitting there, and the doctor does a physical check on me. And then he's all like, your testicle is abnormal, so we're gonna have to do an ultrasound. So I still didn't even think like nothing of it. I was just like, I thought that's what pregnant people get, ultrasounds. So yeah. So he takes me to the room. He's doing the ultrasound. He's like checking like my kidneys and my rib, like over here, all this chest area. And I'm still like, this is really weird, but he's the doctor, so it makes sense. And they check my testicle, and maybe like 30 minutes later, even like, this is how clueless I was. I went up to the like nurse station, and I was like, how long is this gonna take? Because I have to go to work. It was my summer break. Doctor comes out, and he pulls me into the room, and they really are a little bit heartless. So he sits me down.
Yeah, adult medicine sucks.
Like, yeah, they're not like, oh, I'm so sorry. He was just like, nobody really likes to hear this, but you have cancer. And I was
just like that?
Just like that. Like, he didn't even like, my mom was right there, like no sugarcoating it, no warning, just, you have cancer.
How old were you?
Oh, I was 16 years old. And when he said that, the first thing I think about is the movies. So, because I knew nothing about cancer, so I was just like, I'm gonna die. I start crying. He opens the door to a room, and he's like, this,
cry in here, please.
Yeah, he's all like, he's like,
don't get my machine wet. Please cry in here.
Basically, yeah, he's like, we have more patients here. You can cry in this room with your mom. So I'm in the room crying, and the time passes by like 30 minutes. I still can't believe it. He escorts us outside, and he tells me that he's gonna refer me to a good doctor. So I was like, okay, I was still in shock, didn't really like believe it, what was happening. Until that was on a Wednesday. The next day we went to the doctor, the professional, he said, and we went into his office, and he had already looked over like all the details that the Corona Regional Hospital has.
The professional, you mean?
Yeah, the professional. He had already looked. He had already looked at all the details and everything, and he basically starts like sharing with me. He's like, he shows me the ultrasound. And he's like, you basically don't have a testicle. He's like, all it is a tumor and cancer. He's like, how long did you wait for this? And I was like, well, my back started hurting 6 months ago, but I didn't like, put 2 and 2 together. And, he starts like scolding me about waiting for 6 months and whatnot. And he's telling me how it's really bad, and that I need to
and knowing you're still really bad at going to the doctor even now. So it makes sense. The story holds true.
Doctors and Hispanic people are not trying, it's just not, we don't really go. But he, started like telling me how bad it was and how I needed surgery immediately and just all these things. And I'm believing, and now I'm really scared. And then after all of that, he just tells me like, yeah, but not with me. because you have Medi-Cal and IHP, which is like government
government issued insurance.
Government issued insurance. So he's like, so I can't help you, but I can refer you to another doctor in Moreno Valley. So you got to wait for about a week. After he just told me that I needed
that waiting surgery. Was going to kill you.
Yeah. So I'm just sitting there like, like, what? And he's like, yeah, you already waited 6 months, so you can wait another week.
One more week. One
word for word is what he
probably
said.
Won't kill you.
Yeah. So my parents weren't satisfied with that, so they decided to take me to the Children's Hospital of Orange County, which abbreviated CHOC. There they re-diagnosed me at the ER, and that same night, that Thursday night, they took me in, they admitted me into a room. Literally, that was a Thursday night. On Saturday, I was already getting surgery to remove the testicle and put in a portacath. And I still I'm 17 years old, summer vacation, getting ready for my I still don't even know what's going on. And then finally they started talking about, they did the surgery and everything, my recovery. And on 4 or 5 days from then, they sat me down in a meeting where they told me about the treatment plan. And that's where, they told me that I was going to be receiving 4 rounds of chemo, I think is what you said. I got 4 rounds of chemo is what they told me. Yeah.
Okay.
So I started with the chemotherapies, etoposide, Bleo, and cisplatin, which is I think that's like a common 3 chemotherapies that we get, right?
Yeah,
you got
two of those 3 sound very familiar to me, so I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the 3 that I got. Halfway through my treatment, I was allergic to the first stage of etoposide, where I had an allergic reaction where my heart rate went really high up and it just felt really hot in my stomach. After that, I just really don't remember. I woke up the next day and I was okay. So I don't know. I think I think at some point I probably blacked out. I remember some doctors rushing into the room. And then from there, I woke up.
Just don't remember anything.
No, because I remember we were talking about eating a quesadilla with my parents. My mom was going to go to the cafeteria to get me a quesadilla. And then just everything just happened a few seconds. I remember the doctors rushing in, and then I woke up the next day.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild.
It was, yeah. So that was my allergic reaction. They just kind of lowered the dose down, but I kept taking the etoposide, Bleo, and cisplatin, and it was the same. I told them I was fine, so we kept the same 4 cycles going, same routine.
Okay.
1 week of chemo, 3 weeks off.
Oh yeah, so that was my next question for you. How was your treatment done? Because the way I had it done was, I was inpatient for about 5 days. I received my chemo those 5 days, and then on the 6th day I was set to go home. And then I was set to return 28 days later for the next round. Is that something how you did? Okay.
So basically, It was the same thing. I had 5 days of chemo, and then I would go home and then come back and get another 5 days. I had 4 rounds like that of chemotherapy. And how many surgeries did you get?
So I only got 1 surgery. I got the testicle removed. I'm sorry, I'm blacking out a little bit. So I was actually, today being April 1st, actually yesterday, March 31st, marked my 14 year of being diagnosed. So that's why I'm trying to figure out all the dates. But I was diagnosed on March 31st, and I think April 2nd, that's when I got the testicle out. And that was that surgery also included getting my port placed in. Right. And that the port didn't work very well, so they had to put me on the other kind of port, the dangly one, the tubey one. I forget the name of it all the time. It's been 14 years and I still can't name it. But the tubey one, dangly one, that one worked perfectly, and so that's how I got my treatment. Yeah, it's a Broviac. Thank you. It's a Broviac. Yes. Yeah. So I got the Broviac put in the same time that I got the testicle out. So
nice. Yeah,
so that was the one and only surgery that I got. Did you get an additional surgery or?
Yeah, so for me, I had that one, the same. So I got my left testicle removed though. So just a
Ball
fun fact,
buddies.
me and Ralph actually go by ball buddies. On my contacts, I have them as my other nut with the little heart on it. So that's our bro
That's how you
romance
know
right
it's real.
there. And so but I had out of that surgery, I had two other ones. So I had tumors in the abdomen as well. I had 5 tumors in the abdomen where doctors didn't conclude though if it was part of the cancer.
Oh,
They
okay.
were already there. But I did have to get that surgery. That was a 13-hour surgery to remove those tumors. Thankfully, they were all benign. So after the treatment was done of the when I started treatment of testicular cancer, I got the surgery after that, and they were all benign, so I didn't have to continue treatment anymore.
So the doctors don't know or didn't know at the time that those extra tumors that you had in your abdomen, if they were metastasized from the testicle, right?
They don't. They were just there. When I got the CT scan done at Chalk, because I didn't get it done at Corona Regional, they did it at Chalk. They saw the other tumors there, and they told me about them when I was there at the hospital, and they were benign. All of them were benign, so I didn't have to continue treatment after that surgery.
Additional treatment for that. Okay.
Yeah. So if they were positive, I was gonna have to continue treatment, a new treatment. They were gonna have to give me a new treatment, but they were all benign. So that I ended treatment there, and I ended everything there with that surgery.
Okay, so I think it's really interesting that you bring it up, because for me, when I got my first CT scan done, the doctor said that the major part that lit up in the scan was the groin area, obviously the testicle, but he said that there was also there appeared to be other tumors throughout my body. So like I remember he mentioned that I had a tumor the size of like a finger in my right lung, and like a peppering of other tiny little tumors on the lungs. I had pea-sized tumors on my liver. I had one particular tumor that was in the little pathway between the kidney and the bladder. There was one tumor that was blocking that that tube.
That tube.
That piss
that makes
tube,
sense. Yeah.
So at some point I had to get a catheter put in just to be able to help that pathway open up, and I could pee okay without having any retention or any other type of issue. So thanks to that, another fun fact, thanks to that expansion that I got in that particular pathway, one of my kidneys is a lot bigger than the other one. I don't know which is which. I don't remember, but thanks to that, one of my kidneys is a lot bigger than the other one.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you find that kind of stuff cool.
Yeah, actually, after the last surgery that I had was 2 years after I became after I was in remission. Okay. So 2 years after that big surgery, I started having throughout the years I had a lot of testicle pain on the testicle that was left on my left testicle, and when I would run, when I would try to exercise, or if I was standing too much, it would just hurt a lot. So 2 years from then, I find out that my testicle was actually twisted, and there was hydrocele fluid in there. So it would get, after a while of standing up, it would enlarge, and then it would hurt, and the pain would actually go down all the way to my feet. It would hurt all my entire leg would hurt. So I had to get, it was like a 30-minute surgery for that. I had to drain out the hydrocele fluid and get the testicle flipped back to how it was supposed to be. But I did have that happen as well.